Hello there. Now, I want to discuss Tyson Fury's mental health, and I want to tell you a story about what I viewed in reality. This has really happened, and you'll all know about it, but you might not know the depth of his mental health. But I'm going to tell you a short story, but I'm going to tell you something that's come up that I'm particularly aware of, and I think it's very important to highlight for all people with mental health problems and conditions. Now, the Tyson Fury story is that he won a fight against Klitschko, beat him fair and square, but he was stripped of the belt for providing a negative test or something, and basically it was a little bit of politics, and he got stripped of this belt and he went off the rails even though he was world champion, and not necessarily the story surrounding the fight caused him to delve into mental health problems. It was the fact that he said about being the champion. He had done it, he achieved it, and he didn't know what was after it. And you can see how that could easily cause somebody distress. He reached the top of the world, he'd got there, and then looked around, and amazingly his worst mental health came out at this point when he'd achieved such a great achievement. And he put on weight, got addicted to drugs, got addicted to bad food, stopped going to the gym and exercising, and he was gone. He was a goner in life in general. And basically Wilder called him out, as in not called him out to fight, but said that he was he wasn't going to fight ever again. He was just not worth mentioning. And apparently Fury saw this and says that Wilder was the reason that he got back into shape to beat him. And as we all know, he drew the first fight. Arguably, I would say he won. Not really arguably. Any person who watches fights would say that Fury won the first fight easily, and then the second fight he did win for real this time and just walked through Wilder. And it was a great story. And he's not afraid to talk about this, and he went on to the Joe Rogan podcast and revealed this before. I think this was after the first fight with Wilder, or maybe even before he fought him. He came back and got into shape, and he spoke about mental health, and he said that he found that he needed to go to the gym. The gym was his saviour, to work out, to exercise, to fight. I'm supposing that's part of his gym routine, and that gave him the purpose. And he says that he knows what to do now, which is to always go to the gym. And quite only 2 days ago, Anthony Joshua revealed that in 3 or 4 years' time he'll be retiring. He's probably only got 5 or 6 fights left, and he'll be retiring. Tyson Fury is a year older than Anthony Joshua, and he said he's not going to retire. He's going to carry on as long as he can. You can fight up until 40 years old. So this shows me that there's still a sort of different belief system. Now, I'm not saying that he can't fight until he's 40. If that's what he wants to do, that's perfectly fine. What I'm seeing is Tyson Fury probably believes that he has to. And he believes that mental health is going to appear without the gym. Now, this is going to be very difficult. It's not a bad ego defence in the sense that he's found a thing that saves him, but he'll have to do this forever. And I find that this is what people do. People find something that eases some sort of pain, and they stick to it without really solving the next stage of that. And I'm not saying that it's crazy not to go there, because it's dangerous. It's it's where your mental health exists. And I'm sure Tyson Fury has possibly paid for, or can pay for, the top psychiatrist in the world to tell him this information. But this is just something that I've spotted literally on this podcast. His whole saving grace is the gym. Now remember, the gym is an external thing that gives you sort of something, but it's not really within. You see, the Tyson Fury free from mental health would not need the gym. He would be the gym in a sort of metaphorical, image. It would be him not needing any external thing to cure or fix him, which is, again, such a difficult mindset to be in, and nobody in the world can really master this thought process that takes place, this and beyond thought process in a sense, because you're letting go of the mind hanging on to a system. And Tyson Fury's system is he has to go to the gym. Now, I think Tyson Fury is, I think even if he lost the fight, I don't think a loss in a fight would destroy him. And I don't think if he retired from boxing, he would go back to the depths of mental health. I would, fingers crossed, that he wouldn't. But I've just noticed that you can see that you're only ever one thought away from a very dark place. And this is not just singling out Tyson Fury. I'm talking about everybody. You're only one thought away from a dark place, which means you're only one thought away from a light place. And in fact, the less you think altogether is the better that you're going to feel and be. And this is just nature. It just seems to be a common factor. And Tyson Fury has gone through a process that we can view and we just see it as like he's done well, or fair play to him. But what he's gone through is the biggest battle ever. And I'm not talking about any of his fights. He went through the battle with his own mind, and he would be so strong from that. He should get his strength from that rather than get his strength from the gym. And I think this is a perfect way to highlight what you need to do. You need to get your strength within, not from an external partner, not from an external feeling, Very difficult to do. Lots of videos on here that just give you loads of clues, loads of different ideas. One of them is just breaking down consciousness, breaking down these belief systems that you have, expanding your mind to be aware that there's other realities that exist. And I'm hoping that it makes sense that you shouldn't literally rely on anything, because as you see now, there's no gyms open with this current lockdown in the whole of the UK. And people need that, and they're not adapting to the change, they're not evolving. And it's because of that fear and that mental fog that comes up, where you're just paralysed and you're just like, I'll be okay when the gym opens again. Now let's just say we live in a world where they will never open a gym ever again. I know that's not going to happen really, but nothing actually surprises me at the moment. But let's just say that was true. Those proper gym addicts, you need to replace that. You'll need to replace that feeling. And you've got to replace it within here, because if you just pick another external object, you're just bouncing around in a pinball machine. There's no true direction, and there is one direction, not the band, that was absolutely awful, but there is one absolute truth, and it's not external, it's not necessarily with a habit. It takes habits for you to get there, but it's actually letting go of all those habits and having the courage to do that, which can get you strength, real strength, not fake adrenaline pumped up serotonin strength that we've all been used to and we've all had it. It's society's drug of pure control, unfortunately, and we've been suckered into it, and we've absorbed it for that long. We've never had to observe it like we've had to observe it now. We've had to observe closed gyms, and usually you're absorbing the everything that the gym does for you, or even what the gym distracts for you. So I just think that was important to highlight